The CS2 community is currently freaking the f out. Over what, you ask? Well, technically, it's new cosmetics. Lines of code suggesting new agent customization have once again been circulating online, sparking yet another conversation about the future of CS2. And while it may seem insane to suggest that Counter-Strike players could be freaking out in a negative way over new skins, many people are actually debating as to the ramifications of these potential cosmetics.
Before we get into the video, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Omen. This year, Omen has been sending us all across the world to cover the biggest events in esports, and thanks to them, we were at EVO in Las Vegas to capture the hype for all of you. Unleash your ultimate gaming potential with the Omen Max 16 laptop. Crafted for powerful performance, the Omen Max 16 is equipped with up to an Intel Core Ultra 9 processor, offering gamers desktop-level performance anywhere, encased in a light, portable body they can take on the go. Then there's also its groundbreaking new self-cleaning fan technology called Fan Cleaner. Powered by Intel, this built-in feature periodically reverses the fan's direction to prevent dust buildup for absolutely peak reliable performance. And for the first time ever, Omen gives players the ability to manually overclock their laptop CPU and GPU for max performance up to 250 watts total processing power without having to go into the BIOS. Thanks again to Omen for helping players navigate through any gaming obstacle to reach new levels with the Omen Max 16, now available at omen.com. And now, let's get back to our story.
Alright, so back in April of 2023, creator Gabe Follower posted screenshots of CS2 code that suggested new levels of agent customization were coming to the game. There was even mention of skins for pets, which at the time, no one could really make sense of. But here's the thing, over 2 years later, my guy is still posting about it. A couple of weeks ago, Gabe Follower found new lines in relation to these pets that reference a placeable egg along with several poses of a CT agent holding a chicken. And, like Gabe Follower, I just assumed that this was because of the menu screen thing where you can make a T or CT agent hold an item, in this case, a chicken. And it honestly sort of makes sense, right? Like, chickens have kind of always been CSGO's unofficial mascot, so why not have it that I can have my agent look at or play with my chicken while I'm waiting for a queue to pop. However, others were not as enthusiastic, lamenting that, quote, this isn't Counter-Strike. And that has been a common concern as of late. Like, look, Counter-Strike has never been the most realistic of shooters, but it is sort of stripped back and grounded in a visual and mechanical way more than other FPS. Still, since the release of CS2, fans have been questioning how faithfully Valve have been sticking to that image. I mean, when the game first showed itself to the world, some people were complaining that the improved visuals made the game look too cartoonish, or that Valve were trying to make it resemble Valorant for a more casual audience. Similar reactions came following the release of Charms, with one user complaining about it not being realistic to the kits of real-world special forces. You know, unlike an op with a huge dragon painted on the side or gloves that are neon pink. Nevertheless, to many, chickens were yet another immersion-breaking addition that were designed to make the game feel like it appealed more to a casual audience, and if you could make cosmetics around them, make Valve more money. And those with that mindset would be set into yet another tizzy late last week when creator Thor posted more lines of code suggesting full agent customization from hats to eyewear to lower and upper body clothing. Now, while there were those that were annoyed that Valve are ostensibly spending all their time adding cosmetics into CS2 as opposed to actually making the game feel good and playable, there are also the usual fans who are complaining that this is sort of just like the Fortnite-ification of Counter-Strike, which, like, it's a video game. Now, I will say that some fans did actually offer some consequences that this could have on gameplay, more specifically visibility. We already went through this like 6 years ago when Valve first introduced agent skins in Global Offensive, but there were like 3 of them that were just impossible to see on certain areas of certain maps. Now, the devs eventually patched it, but it still has been a persistent issue for some, and the concern is that more cosmetics might make the problem even worse, especially with players who are colorblind. And if there are certain skins that do legitimately camouflage you, even just a little bit, that would technically make Counter-Strike a sort of pay-to-win game. If one player jiggle peeks you wearing some sort of like a cowboy hat or something, right, and another player jiggle peeks you with cat ears, then you know there's 2 players there instead of 1. Now, obviously you can already do that with different types of agent skins and even weapon skins to a degree, but truly unique items could make it a lot easier and render info gathering, which is a skill you have to develop in Counter-Strike, a lot more simplistic. But here's the thing, guys. There's no actual evidence that any of this is actually coming to CS2. As I said at the beginning, and as Devin said in his video like 2 years ago, Gabe Follower posted about this exact string of code like in 2023. In fact, due to the recent outrage, Gabe Follower took to Twitter to remind everyone that none of this information is actually new. As he says, mentions of wearable items have been in the game since 2016, and that if Valve were experimenting with adding anything like this to CS2, it was likely scrapped, and that the reason these lines are back in the game code could just be an error. The point is that there's no actual evidence that any of this is even coming to CS2. As I and he and many others have said many times, Valve love adding stuff into their game code that just never makes it to the live client. Now, that also does not mean that nowhere down the line does Valve add any new type of cosmetic to CS2. Considering what cosmetics mean to Counter-Strike, I think it's fair to assume that they will. The question is, where will Valve stop? Where will they draw the line? I'll admit that there is a little bit of a double standard when it comes to these skins that are already in the game and that are already pretty insane by Counter-Strike theme standards. I'll just say those people who are whining on Reddit get real quiet when it's a fan service anime skin that's breaking the milsim aesthetic. Hell, even the new animations they released a couple of weeks ago had fans complaining that they felt kind of cheap and that Counter-Strike was starting to feel like a little bit of a mobile game. Now, I don't agree, and I think it's kind of unfair to suggest that these new animations are worse than the old thumb clipping ones, which is why Valve got rid of them in the first place. But irrespective of any of this, we'll just get used to them, because that's what we do when Valve adds new things into the game. At this point, we sort of just have to trust that Valve won't take things too far. I personally still have some of that trust left myself, and it's important to remember that one of the reasons Valve have to be so careful with every little decision they make vis-a-vis skins is because how insane the community has become about them and how important they are to Counter-Strike. The skin economy literally carries Counter-Strike, literally, financially carries the game and makes Valve a shit ton of money. They would never do anything to willfully screw that up. So yeah, that may not sound comforting, but it is.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning into today's video. All year, we've been traveling around the world with our friends at Omen to bring you coverage of the biggest events on the esports calendar. As part of that, I'd like to ask you all if you could fill out the survey via the link in the description below so we can continue to bring you the content we know that you love. It really helps us out. Thanks for watching.
If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring the notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit us up on our X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.